Do you want to say, hi, I'm Nadine, and I'll say, and I'm Taryn?
Hi, I'm Nadine.
And I'm Taryn. And we're here in Nadine's conservatory.
Yes.
And yes, we do always dress like this whenever we get together.
We actually do. That's actually not a lie. Like, Taryn, your game when it comes to fashion has made me step up my game.
Has it?
Yeah, because I'm like, Taryn's come around, I better put something on. Better something colourful. Taryn came around and had my pyjamas on one time and I felt so guilty. I was like, oh God, I was sitting in my pyjamas. And one day I had grey on and like a navy jumper and I was like, oh, the cheek. You arrived with like rainbow colours.
I'm not here to like grey shame. I'm not here to grey shame.
No, it needs to be done and I appreciate it. But it's nice to be here chatting with you, my dear.
It is. It's great. And we've decided that we're going to share our fireside chats.
Fireside chats.
And our friendship, our blossoming friendship.
Yeah.
We're going to share it with everyone.
And my blossoming Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah. I'm just on the herbal tea, but whatever you're having yourself.
I've got a lot to celebrate, so I'm celebrating.
That's right.
Life, health, success, joy.
And Nadine and I are both kind of found ourselves in a bit of a place recently where we're like wanting to explore different options and wanting to kind of explore our creativity a bit. Mm-hmm. And I was on a panel recently with the amazing artist Grace Dias.
Oh, yes.
And she spoke about how she's currently doing The Artist's Way, which I think is a book that most people I know have on their bookshelves.
Yeah, I did it like, honestly, maybe 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Years ago, and I'm kind of like, I feel like I've forgotten everything though. I'll be honest with you.
I'm exactly the same.
I'm like, what did I learn? That big book.
Yeah, I know, exactly the same as me. I think it came out in 1994. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. So this is the book here, The Artist's Way, and it's been around for a long time. Mm-hmm. And it's a 12-step program. Basically, it sounds a bit like
addicts. Yeah, that's like 12 steps. Like 12 steps become the better you. And I really hate those salesy things. Yeah, I don't like them. They kind of rub you up the wrong way. But it is a good book.
Yeah, and we've decided that we are going to do The Artist's Way together, and we're going to share our weekly journey with you guys. And hopefully, some of you might come along with us on the Artist's Way journey.
Join us.
Or you might just take something from what we're talking about and what we're kind of learning as we go along.
That's so true. And it's funny, Taryn, because people would look at me and I would say they look at you and go, wow, she's so creative. Oh, she's so creative. She's so colourful. She has all these great ideas, but ideas don't come out of nowhere. Do you not think?
That's true.
It's a muscle you sort of train.
Yeah, that's true.
As you grow. Like it takes so much vulnerability, courage to actually be creative.
That's right. And like I'm interested in the idea of how we have a very rigid concept of what creativity even is. So like I think that's a good starting point. Like what do you even think creativity is? What is it for you? What does it mean?
Okay. Creativity, I think, is like that, having courage. I think having the courage to simply express your thoughts, your feelings, your mood, what you've seen in a whatever platform you like. So whether it's your voice, whether it's dance, whether it's making something, whether it's a certain conversation you have with someone. But I think courage, is the root of creativity, because it takes a lot to just open yourself up. Like, it's scary. Well, I find it a bit scary.
Yeah, and I think the fear that a lot of us have around creativity is, I think creativity is so connected with the word artist.
Yes.
And then a lot of us have this reticence to call ourselves an artist.
Yeah, because you sound like you should be like a proper artist in the Louvre.
Exactly.
like, oh yeah, my mate Leonardo da Vinci. Do you know, you get this
or it has a kind of like slightly pretentious sound about it or something. Like if you said to someone, I'm an artist, and then people are like, who are you? You know, and I find this really weird. I was like writing for a long time before I felt comfortable calling myself a writer. And then it was only when I started to get paid to write that I was like, okay, now I'm kind of justified to call myself a writer. Like now I'm allowed to do that.
Isn't that weird?
I know.
Why do we do that? So money is the root of titles. So, because I always say to somebody, if someone came to me and said, I want to be a TV presenter, I'd be just like, well, present.
Yeah.
And there you go, you're a TV presenter.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, just get doing it, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on whatever platform.
Yeah.
Interview some people, talk about the weather, You're a presenter.
Yeah.
Nobody can tell you are not
Yeah.
a presenter. Okay, maybe you're not paid by RTE or the BBC.
Yeah. Yet.
Yeah.
But
when you get paid by RTE and the BBC, then you become that thing.
I know.
There's something not right with that either.
I know, it's really weird. It's a weird hang up that I had anyway. I don't know if other people have that.
I'd say everybody has that.
Do you think?
We all have too many hang-ups. I'm so over the hang-ups. I'm over it. I have to be honest, guys. I'm so over the hang-ups. I've made such a big move. I moved from Dublin to Donegal, before that from Birmingham to Ireland. And when I look back now, I'm like, why did I take so long to do this?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I clearly had some issues, some hang-ups, multiple failed relationships. But when I say multiple failed, hiccups, I don't know. Yeah, failed. What was I sticking around for? Do you know what I mean?
And do you feel like, this big life change and this big move is kind of, that is tied in with creativity?
I think
or a search for creativity, or
I think it's a search for yourself. I think it's a search for understanding yourself more. And the older I get, and the more courageous I become, the more I understand who I am. And the benefits of that have been outstanding.
Yeah.
So it's like a courage. The courage I have now, I didn't have 10 years ago, not even 5 years ago.
Okay.
It's the courage to say, yes, I'm going to just move to a house in rural Ireland. Boom.
Yeah.
What you got to say about that?
Yeah.
Come for me there. Come for me, mate.
Yeah.
Like it's courage. I don't know. I think courage is the way. And it's mad.
Yeah.
I
think everybody's an artist. So even though I said that thing about how like I feel weird about calling myself, and again, I am a person who has pieces of my art that I've created in the National Museum of Ireland's collection.
Amazing.
And
epic.
And I've done performance art in galleries.
So bold. I love that. I just imagine you like, Taryn, she comes in the room. Oh. Did you like kick your leg in the air and scream and then suckle somebody or something?
No, I didn't. I just got married.
Oh yes. Okay, now that's going to be like a whole show.
Yeah.
When you're ready to tell us share that story, please.
Yeah, but again, like that, it wasn't really till I'd sort of done those things that I was like, yeah, I can legitimately call myself an artist. Do you know what I mean? Because also I think it's tied up with that there's sort of like levels of gatekeeping. I think like you have to have gone to art school, or you have to have been exhibited in a like proper gallery, or you have to whatever. I think that there's weird ideas, but then the other part of me thinks that like everybody is an artist.
Yeah, like everybody's a singer.
Yeah, well, I think everybody humans are creative creatures.
Yes.
And like if we look at kids and what kids are like and how inherently creative they are every day, and it's sort of like life sucks that out of you a bit. Oh my God, I have a story for you actually that I haven't told you, right? This is profoundly shocking to me.
Oh gosh, profoundly shocking.
Yeah, my teenage son, who told me this today.
Oh gosh.
And he's in a school that's quite a disadvantaged school with a lot of students he's in secondary school, and he's in a school with a lot of students who might have really disadvantaged backgrounds, possibly some crime in their families, that type of situation. Yeah. And he told me today that the only piece of creative writing that he has been asked to do since he was in secondary school was an exercise where they were asked to imagine that they were in prison and that they are writing a letter to a loved one.
Wow.
And write a letter. Wow. And I was like, what? So they're asking you to imagine a future where you're in prison and you're writing a letter from prison to your loved one.
Now, what were the circumstances? Because if this was, live the life of Nelson Mandela, long walk to freedom.
Hey, look,
I wouldn't
have an issue with this if there were genuine creative writing things happening in the school and happening in classes where they were actually being given write about whatever you want to write about. Write about what he in his he's in junior cert, so in his 3 years in the school so far, the one time that he said that it was kind of like creative writing was this particular exercise. So for me, the context of how that came about, I don't know. But it isn't even that important to me because that's the only thing that he can say he was asked to do. And that is a kind of an exercise that I feel would need to be handled quite sensitively in a school with probably some children in that class.
Yeah, that's like someone saying to me, "Oh, write a letter from the perspective of a slave or something."
Yeah,
I'd be like, "What?"
I know.
What the hell?
Like some of those kids have like a parent in prison, and you know, I found that really. But why I'm telling you that story is, I think it really speaks to the way that creativity is kind of not encouraged, and it sort of gets sucked out of you as you go through the school system.
Schools failing kids consistently. Sorry to all the head teachers and teachers. I know you're trying your best, but
I think the curriculum is not.
We're failing the children.
Yeah,
we're failing
I just think
sadly.
that life kind of tries to make us conform more.
Yeah, basic
and
bitches. Sorry,
tries to make us all into basic bitches.
Yeah, Magnolia lovers. Not that I don't love a bit of Magnolia. There's a place for it, but Magnolia, grey, dullness.
Yeah,
we're easy to control when we're like that.
Yeah, I think so. And I find that just really sad. And then it puts all those barriers up for people around. And we all have these barriers we put up for ourselves. Like I'm talking about ones that I put up for myself. Yeah. And
are you an artist now then? Do you see yourself as an artist?
I am an artist.
Confidently.
Now my hang up is, and I discovered this from just like, basically with the Artist's Way, the deal is...
Back to the book.
Yeah, the deal is that you do morning pages every morning. So I'm a few days in. Nadine's just about to start.
I'm just about to start tomorrow morning. It's been a busy few days.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like journaling, really, isn't it?
It's like stream of consciousness stuff. You're supposed to do it as soon as you get up in the morning. You write 3 pages about whatever is in your brain.
I love that.
So for me, it's like all the stuff I'm stressing about.
Do you use the toilet before you start doing your morning pages? Yeah.
Quick wee.
It's not like I'm like,
empty the bladder.
I need to have a wee before I can even think about it. Otherwise it'll be like, I need the toilet.
Yeah, no. You'd have 3 pages of, my bladder is sore.
Okay, so have a wee, then start writing.
Yeah, I even made a cup of tea this morning.
Oh, you had a cup of tea? That's not the best.
What? It is first thing in the morning. I can hardly do anything without a cup of tea.
So you actually, did you get out of bed? I was thinking you literally like wake up out of your sleep, pull the paper next to you and start writing.
Well, that's what I did the first day. And then the second day, one of my kids was like, "Can you make me pancakes?" And I was like, I have to get up to make the pancakes. So I went downstairs, made myself a cup of tea, sat down, did the writing, then made the pancakes.
Okay, that's good.
Prioritising the meat stuff first.
Okay, right.
So yeah, you do these 3 pages, stream of consciousness, every single morning, no matter what, when you first wake up.
And it's like a 12-week commitment, right?
12-week commitment.
That's a lot of paper, mate.
I'm already a little bit addicted to this, though.
Are you addicted to it already? You only did it 2 days.
No, 3 days. I'm on my 3rd day.
This is your 3rd day? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. I'm already seeing the benefit of doing this.
Seriously?
Yeah, because I feel like it kind of it's getting all the stuff that I stress about is just put on that piece of paper, and then the rest of the day I feel like I don't need to stress as much about it.
Would you say it's kind of like a personal therapy session? Because it feels a bit therapeutic-y.
Yeah, I think that, well, for me, I guess everyone's going to have a different journey with it, and maybe people won't do it the way I do it. Like other people might be writing about dreams they have, or writing about, this is what I'd love to do, or just whatever's in your brain. It could be like there's in my brain there's like a panda rolling around on a hill.
I love people that have those kind of thoughts.
It could be anything, yeah. So I'm interested to see what yours is.
I know. I'm now but now I think I'm going to make it really good.
No, and this is the thing. You're not meant to read it, so you're not allowed to read them back. Okay. You're not meant to read them back until after you've done it.
Okay.
But anyway, so your 3 pages.
Okay. What's the other commitment as well? Because there's a few things you have to commit to.
A few basic things, yeah. The other one is the contract. You have to sign a contract.
Read us a little about that contract again now, because it's really like you must commit to blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And it makes you write your name in it and stuff like that, doesn't it?
Yeah, you have to write your name in it, and you have to basically. It's essentially just a commitment to do the 12 weeks.
Do the work.
And here it is. Okay.
Like a pledge sort of thing.
Yeah, so I, Taryn, understand that I am undertaking an intensive guided encounter with my own creativity.
Ooh.
I commit myself to the 12-week duration of the course.
Ooh.
I, Taryn, commit to weekly reading, daily morning pages, a weekly artist date, and the fulfillment of each week's tasks.
Okay. This is quite a lot then.
It seems like a lot, but like one's a contract that you're just signing, so that's not that big deal. You do it once.
But you're committing for 12 weeks. That's still a good...
Yeah.
If you're going to do it, we need to do it. Like, I'm going to commit. What month
are you going to commit? Because I was
April,
like...
May.
You know, are you going to be
End
like...
of
You
May.
know, you could be kind of like, okay, I'm going to take what I want to take from this project.
Okay, can I commit to it for like a month?
Okay.
And see where I feel
Yeah.
after the first 4 weeks.
Okay, but be aware, I think, that like... It does. I think she says that you sort of get into it goes up and down a bit.
I'll do the 12 weeks.
Do the 12
I'll
weeks.
just do the 12 weeks. I'm gonna, guys. You have my commitment.
Yeah, do the 12 weeks.
Tomorrow, I'll do the 12 weeks. So is that 3 months?
Yeah.
4, 8, 12. Yeah, that's 3 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then the other thing is a weekly artist date.
Ooh, is he hot? Does he have nice hair?
A hot artist.
Yeah.
You go on a date with a hot artist.
Yeah.
Imagine if every time you bought one of these books, you got a little coupon or something. Here's your coupon
for a date with a hot
artist.
artist.
For a date with a hot
artist.
artist.
I'd love that. And he can paint me like Ghost,
Yeah.
or make oh my love, like a vase. I already have a vase-like physique. Sorry.
That would be so cool.
It would be so cool. Did you ever find that bit awkward when it was like Whoopi Goldberg was she having sex with Patrick Swayze?
Fully weird, wasn't
it? Or with Demi Moore. It was something that was like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was.
Which way around was it?
It was a bit strange.
Yeah, it was Whoopi Goldberg. Whoa. I always find that very weird. Just like cradling Demi Moore.
Yeah.
Anyway,
quite
sorry.
strange.
We've digressed. I apologise.
Yes.
Okay.
So anyway, unfortunately, your weekly artist date is not an actual date with a hot artist.
Is it where I paint myself in the nude?
You can if you want.
Okay.
It's 2 hours that you have to promise yourself you're going to do 2 hours of kind of like
frivolity.
joyful.
Taryn has the best vocab. Frivolity. Love that. Love a bit of frivolity.
So you can just do something like childlike or fun or creative or...
Now, be honest, did 2 hours not seem a bit long to you? Because it kind of seemed long to me.
Yeah, it did. When I first read it, I was like, holy shit, how am I going to find 2 hours to myself? Because, yeah...
What are you thinking of doing on your hot date with yourself?
A hot date with myself.
Yeah,
well, it's about frivolity though, isn't it? So it's just about kind of being in an energy of not having to actually kind of produce something for a goal. And so I think a lot of...
Oh my gosh, that's quite hard because I'm all about being productive.
Yeah. But you see, I think this is part of the trip and part of the journey, isn't it? Is that you have to like be able to get into the space where creating comes from like a playful place.
Yes.
And from a joy of creating rather than an outcome.
So
place.
could I, because I've started to go for little walks by the water because I've been in a city for so long.
Yeah.
Like I just haven't seen the water.
Yeah.
Apart from a shower.
Yeah.
I didn't have a bath at my last place.
Yeah.
It was just a shower.
Yeah.
And so could I have my art moment, my date with myself, like walking down the beach, picking up some stones, throwing stuff in the sea, that type of thing? I think
you can, as long as it's got that sort of energy of like this is just something that's nurturing you and that has some sort of creative vibe to it, even if that's collecting some shells that you like the look of or that say something to you, or creating a little collection on the beach of similar coloured shells or something, whatever.
You see, I like
building a sandcastle.
I like doing things like that already, but I don't think I give myself a lot of time to do that. Definitely not 2 hours.
Yeah.
Maybe 20 minutes. That push.
Yeah. That's a bit how I felt too. I was like, when I was reading about it, I was thinking I would do a bit of this already, but definitely not 2 hours.
Okay. So this is a time thing as well then.
Yeah, but
committing to time, but we deserve it, right? If it's something that's going to help us,
yes,
we deserve it.
That's right.
All creatives deserve this. Okay, I'm in. Sign the contract. Yeah. 3 pages of morning writing.
Yep.
And a date, a weekly date.
Weekly date. You have to be your own hot artist.
Okay,
find the hot artist within.
Okay. She's in there somewhere. Oh, my love. I know I'm going to listen to some tunes when I do mine. So that's the main 3 things for the first week.
That's the main 3 things. And then you also have to do the little weekly exercises, right? Now, I did some of these exercises this morning.
How did you find these? Is this like, we're about like a yoga thing, stretch, look at the sun?
No.
Put some crystals out?
No, not that at all. It was, it's like kind of little tasks to do, like writing tasks and thinking tasks. And
okay. What was your thinking task this week?
Well, like the tasks that were on for this week, for week 1, were like things like list 3 old enemies of your creative self-worth. Yes. Be as specific as possible in doing this exercise.
So we've got to think back of all those little bastards that have upset us in our lives and
like people who said
stop us.
Yeah, people who said horrible things about something that you created, or that kind of thing. One. Yeah.
Do you know what someone said to me? And the thing is, I actually really love this person.
Yeah.
But it was a moment I was like, you just don't get me. So as a makeup artist, which was my first makeup artist, you see, I'm there.
Yeah.
And my first major role, vocation as a makeup artist, I remember I was struggling to get consistent work.
Okay.
So I, like literally one week I'd be working for Moschino. And the next week, Betty down the road would be like, is it that much for my makeup?
Okay.
I'd be like, lads, I've just been working with Moschino.
Yeah.
I've got hella talent here. What's going on?
Yeah.
So because I was struggling with that, I know what it's like. You're struggling to have regular income, so you're getting paid late for things. You need to borrow a few quid to cover this. And it became challenging. And I was like that for a good few years. And she said to me, so how long are you going to do this for? How long are you going to work like this? And I remember saying to her something on the lines of, I'll do this until I work it out.
Yeah.
Like, this is it. As if she said to me, are you just going to try and do this different role, this new creative thing that you're doing?
Right.
How much time are you going to give that before you actually give it up?
Yeah.
And go back and do a regular.
Yeah. So it was a bit like
job.
she was kind of shitting all over what you were doing. And
well, I think she thought she was being helpful.
Right. Okay.
She honestly thought she was being helpful.
Yeah.
She thought she was sort of saying, but luckily I had the confidence to say, hon, this is a lifetime thing for me, because I just can't see myself going back to the sort of jobs I used to do.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't see it, and it didn't feel right. And I was working, because I used to work for Mac, and I had a great time there. But my time was done, But, it was a big company, pension, the usual.
Yeah, the safety.
Yeah. Well, maybe not now since the pandemic. I know they've let go a lot of senior staff. But, I remember thinking, God, so you either don't believe in me or you've never seen this work.
Yeah, yeah.
And then but luckily I had the hindsight to think, the head thought to think, you don't have a clue, mate.
Yeah, and you had that kind of belief in yourself and your own kind of desires.
If I didn't, that could have had quite a strong negative impact.
Yeah, and it obviously did have some kind of an impact anyway, because you're still remembering this.
Yeah, I remember
in this kind of like who.
But I can't remember because I went like, ha ha.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean? Maybe that's the little
yeah.
You didn't believe in me, duh.
And it's funny too, because I think on that thing around where we were saying around people not wanting to call themselves artists.
Yeah.
And another, I think, part of this, and this is part of what doing these exercises and starting this program the last few days, one of the things that really raised for me was this idea that it's really, really difficult to be an artist who's also successful financially.
Yes.
And that is like totally an idea that I have in my head.
We've been taught it our whole lives, right?
Yeah.
Or if you're an artist, you'll be a poor starving artist.
Yeah, struggling artist. Yeah, it's a total stereotype, isn't it?
Yeah.
Penniless artists and yeah. And so I think like that too is that's quite a frightening idea.
Yes. No one wants to be broke.
No, which would really like frighten you away from pursuing a creative career as well, I think.
Yeah.
And so that's definitely a block that I have that came up for me today when I was doing some of these exercises. I was like, because that's I think it's a big one to try and get over because
it is.
because it's not just me. It's like reinforced by all of society and everybody around us.
No, you're right. You're
And
right. Quite petrifying, actually. It's like you always have to really believe in yourself and really have loads of people believing you, and maybe have like 100 grand in the bank. To know that you'll be all right, or know that you don't have to pay a mortgage, or stuff like that.
So that's going to be an interesting one, I think, over the next few weeks to try and kind of work through for me as something that I'd like to lose that idea, because I feel like it's a limiting belief that's holding me back.
Hell yeah, it is. So what type of artist would you love to be?
Well, this is the thing, like, it's not that I necessarily am thinking, I want to be an artist per se.
But you are.
It's more about I want to reconnect with my kind of creative source, and I want to start creating various things from a sort of more a more divine or authentic space. Do you know what I mean? I want to have
You are divine and authentic.
Yeah, but I want
to be even more divine.
That's very kind of you to say.
Yeah, but you are, like, you're pretty authentic, Taryn.
Yeah, I think that, like, really great art actually almost kind of is channeled through the artist, through the person. Like, I think it's like sometimes like here's an example, not that I consider my anything that I've ever done really to be really great art, but I sometimes get these like I call them midnight poems, because when I'm trying to go to sleep at night, they come to me and they literally won't let me stop until I write them down. Like, they won't let me sleep, won't let me relax until I've written them down. And you know, and to me, they're not really coming from me. They're kind of coming from something else, because I feel like I have to put this down somewhere. And not that I think that that's, you know, this amazing art that needs to be out there in the world. Or
do you have one that we can listen to?
No, I don't have any on me right now.
Next episode, Taryn will reveal one of her midnight poems that came to her from the divine spirit.
Well, I just don't feel like it. I don't really feel like it came from me, because I'd be like, no, I'm too tired. I don't want to get up right now. I'll write this down in the morning, and then it will be literally kind of feeling like it's pestering me. Either it's like from some other source, or I have like a mental illness.
Well, it could be both.
That wants me to write poetry.
Well, it could be both, Taryn, to me, and I'm okay with either. Well, I think when you really do connect, it's more than a physicality, like, you know. I
when you're singing and you're really in the space where you that divine kind of spirit. I think that's what I'm hoping to be able to tap into more regularly. From this, that's part of why I want to do this. But it's also because I want to work through some of those kind of limiting beliefs that I have, and those strange ideas I have. And I had another kind of sort of thing come up for me too when I was doing this today. And it's a sort of idea, a strange idea that I have, that, like, you know, does the world really need to hear from, like, another white woman?
Well, you know, we love to hear from you. We're used to it now. I accept it's the way it is. No, but Taryn, look, come on. Every story is a relevant story. And I don't think it's that the world doesn't need to hear from another white woman. I think the world just needs to hear from a variety of other people. So just because there is not good balance, it doesn't mean that your thoughts and stories and experiences not equally valid. We just need to make sure we're encouraging all those other different groups, Indigenous groups, African, Indian, whatever, wherever you're from, mixed, rural, non-rural, city. You know, I always just want to encourage all of those stories. I hate when it's just the same story.
I know, but I think that's part of where my thing is. I'm kind of like, you know, do I really want to put myself out there as, like, to like, the world has enough, like, white women telling their stories, putting their art out in the world, you know, so... And I guess like I understand that that's kind of like a limiting belief that I have, and it's a bit of a strange one, and it comes from like, you know, not wanting to, you know, it comes from like a good place. It comes from like, okay, I'd like to see the other people who are, you know, in more oppressed communities than mine, having their voices raised, having their art lifted up.
But that's what you naturally do. I say that's why when we started Queer, that's what that was about as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So sometimes in order to help others, you know, you have to raise yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. I'd get over that one, love.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Don't let the wokeness get you down.
Yeah.
Relax there, my wee white friend. You're grand, Bab, you're grand. But yeah, I think it's good to be aware of that, and as you rise, then you help others, you continue being aware and do that, I guess.
Yeah. And also, like, sort of part of me also thinks, you know, I don't think anybody finding their kind of creative, authentic voice in this world could ever be a bad thing.
Yes, it couldn't.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Like, I think if more of us were coming from that place where we were really in touch with our sort of divine self, then the world would actually be a much nicer place.
It would be, but we're scared though. People are petrified to be themselves.
Yeah.
Like, to be truthfully honest, one of my artistic goals, and it has been for the last few years, is simply learn how to tell your story.
Yeah.
So it's two things I asked myself when I moved to Ireland as well. I was like, well, what is your story? Because for so many of us, our whole lives, we're just kind of plodding along and we don't take stock. And if you're not a writer, or, you know, sometimes you don't even realise what your life is, you know.
Yeah.
Are you an Oliver Twister or an Annie? You know, is your story that kind of orphan-y story? Or is your story that, I don't know, fabulous choices, or the adventure story, or, do you know? So for me, I've spent some time kind of looking back and deciding what my story is. And that is hard, because then you're going back to your family. How was I raised? And you know, I could tell my story as, I was raised a single parent in a city, you know, working class family.
Yeah.
Like, my Uncle Trevor was the first person in my family to go to university. And like, he's got a great job, and, you know, he's done really well, great family. Doing really well, love all his kids and his wife and everything. My cousin was the first doctor in the family. It's like, big deal, you know, like, whoa, there's a doctor in the family, blah, blah, blah. But I will admit that we can tell our stories the way, we can choose how we tell our story.
Yeah.
So I choose to tell my story that I was raised by a family of Jamaicans. So I wasn't raised by my father, I was raised by my mother. But for a long time I lived with my uncles as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? My grandmother was there a lot until she moved back to Jamaica.
Yeah.
So I know I was in a single parent family, but I didn't feel that way, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I really felt my extended family was simply my family.
Yeah.
So I don't really identify fully with single mom, struggling alone. Now, my mom might tell this story differently. She might be like, I was a single mom alone. It was hard. I could barely pay the bills. But however she reared me, I never saw that. I never felt that.
That's great.
So my upbringing feels really rich.
Yeah.
It's only when I look back at the facts, I'm like, oh yeah. It wasn't a great part of Birmingham, was it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's interesting when I go back.
Yeah.
And then even people might say to me, oh, you're such a gypsy. Like, what the hell does that mean anyway? Oh, you're such a gypsy. I'm like, what do you mean? Are you always, you never settle down? I'm like, jog on. I'm an adventurer. I enjoy exploring.
Yeah.
And if I feel there's more to see and learn, I'm gonna go and learn and see it.
Yeah. And also, like, you're probably the first TV presenter in your family.
I'm the first a lot of things in my family. I'm the first a lot of things. First plus size model. Yeah. First model, probably. Yeah. First TV presenter. Yeah. First. Well, actually, no. My uncles My uncle's wife's brother has a place in Ireland, but a lot of my family just moved, like literally from Jamaica to Birmingham.
Okay.
Or Florida. That's a classic kind of Jamaican little structure.
Okay.
Some followed the heat.
Okay.
And some suffered the cold. Okay. But like hardly any of us moved out of England once they moved there, which is so weird.
It is a bit strange.
Do you know when I moved to when I moved to Paris, that was always a big dream. Relationship broke down. I was like, sod it, I'm going to Paris. My uncle said to me, imagine my uncle his mom was Jamaican, like proper born in Jamaica.
Yeah.
He spent time in school in Jamaica.
Yeah.
But he's lived his whole life in Birmingham.
Okay.
He said to me when I said I'm going to Paris, he was like, oh, you know, it's not, they don't use the pound there, you know. It's very expensive. They don't speak English there, you know. And I was like, yeah, Uncle, I'm kind of aware of that. That's why I'm going. I'd love to learn another language. But he was like, oh, be careful now. And I thought, what happened to you?
Yeah.
What happened to my people? They travelled thousands of miles, you know, for the search of this new great life, and then stayed there.
Yeah.
Is it that great there? Like, obviously, they have achieved greatness.
Yeah.
In many ways, but there's other places, lads.
There's
other things to do, but there's this kind of fear. But again, I think I'm privileged being, what would I be, third generation? Second generation? I can't remember. How do you work it out? So my mum was born in Jamaica, but I was born in Birmingham.
So you're second
I'm
generation.
second generation. I think it might be a second generation privilege as well. Mm-hmm. They did all the work.
Yeah.
So I can choose what I want.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I'm choosing to go, oh yeah, Birmingham, cool.
Yeah.
London, cool. Loads going on. There's other places.
Yeah.
Let's see what's going on there.
And sometimes people get offended too, though, if you don't make the same choices they make. And they see that as like a personal affront.
Yeah.
And so sometimes people, I think that's a reason why sometimes people try and keep you small.
Yes.
As well.
Yeah.
I think it's because they're sort of scared that if you get big, it says something about them and their life choices.
Yes, that they weren't as bold or they weren't as brave.
Yeah, and that's another big part, I think, of this process too.
Yeah.
I think is around that idea of being okay with getting a bit bigger and stepping into your power a bit more.
And being different. Do you get told, have you been told like you're very different?
Yeah.
I've had so many people, even your boyfriend, you're different, you are.
Yeah.
Very different. I'm like, are you trying to offend me? What is that? I'm delighted I'm different.
Yeah, that's a compliment.
Yeah.
Who wants to be the same?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess a lot of people do want to be the same.
Yeah, but that's fear again, isn't it? It's the fear.
And staying small. If your friends are small, then you stay small.
Yeah.
Then you're all small together.
Exactly.
But I'm planning to grow, Taryn. So you're either going to stick around or, you know what I mean, get pushed to the side with your smallness. It's up to you, kiddo.
Well,
it's up to you, kiddo.
Let's just grow together.
You see, that's what I like. No, that's what I like. So honestly, yes, I was honestly joking.
Yeah.
But I think surely the biggest success in your life must be just to feel like you fully lived your whole life. You know, doing what you're passionate about. And using all your skills to help and to create. And surely that's the happiest people.
Yeah, I think so. Like I always say, if I die tomorrow, I'll at least have like tried life really hard.
Same.
You know, I gave it a good run. I did a lot.
Yeah, no regrets.
Yeah.
No regrets. Taryn, I think we're going to do really well at this.
Yeah.
We're already flying, sweetheart. Keep that up.
That's right. Yeah. So here's to week 1 of the Artist's Way. Let's get into it. And next week we'll let you know how we got on.
Yes. Well,
so thanks for joining us.
Thank you. See you soon. Bye. Well, Taryn went very well.
Yeah, I think it was great.
It was good. I feel real cozy.
Yeah.
Is the fire still on?